welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're doing well. I feel like I say that the same every single time. Every time I'm like, hey girl, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. So in today's video, I asked you guys on Instagram if you have any questions, like you just need some godly advice about something. If you were my friend, but I see all of you as my friends already, but if we were to ever have a coffee and you come to me and you're like, Jeanine, I need your advice on something. Can you please help me with this? This is probably the advice that I would give to you as a good friend. So some of the advice may come off as like super harsh. Please don't take offense. This is just my opinion, my rock solid heart, because good friends are not just cheerleaders. They actually give you legitimately solid advice that's actually going to help you. And that's what I want to do. I want to help you today. Okay, so this is a completely different day and I'm actually filming another video now, but I quickly wanted to say that if you guys have any advice that you would like to give to the girls that sent in these questions, please leave your advice and your opinions and thoughts and feelings down in the comment section below. I think the people who sent me in these questions will obviously appreciate more than one opinion on this matter. So please feel free to comment down below whatever you feel or how you think they should handle the situation. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go film another video now. Let's go. I am going to keep these questions anonymous just because I am not here to expose anybody. Okay, so the first question says, do you have any relationship advice for future mother-in-laws? And she put like a little, that girl that smacks her head like this. So I have had an ex in my life that, yes, his mother just really didn't like me. So I know what it feels like to not get along with your mother-in-law or soon-to-be mother-in-laws. I know that it sucks and I'm really sorry if you are somebody that is going through this. I think the biggest thing for me is that you are going to have to respect her as his mother. She will always have a place in his life as his mother. You can't tell him like, hey boy, I hate your mother, so you need to like, you know, push her out of your life and completely cut her off because I hate her. I mean, I know you're just like, ugh, I know the feeling, but unfortunately she is his mother. She is the one that raised him and she does have a place in his life as his mother. You're always going to have to be respectful towards her. You're always going to have to be civil towards her. Even if she can get how nasty in your face or behind your back, I'm not saying build a super close relationship with her and become her BFF. Please, no. So I think the big thing here is that if the guy is a mama's boy, so he loves his mother very much, this can become a huge problem, almost to the extent, whereas because I personally went through this, I would say that you have to reconsider the relationship, because what is going to end up happening is it's always going to be your word against her word. She's going to go tell him something, you're gonna be like, hey, no, this is not the truth, and he's going to have to choose between the two of you the whole time. And unfortunately, if he's a mama's boy, he is going to keep on picking his mother. And if you are going to be his wife one day, yeah girl, that's kind of important that he picks your side. And I know people are like, oh, but you're not married yet, so he doesn't have to. Honey, no. If he's not doing it now, he is not going to do it later. But if this guy isn't oblivious to his mother's mistakes and he's like, okay, you know what, I know my mother does this, I know she can be a bit overbearing sometimes, I realize this, that is a very good sign. That means that he is going to pick your side whenever it comes to your word against her word. Even if he didn't necessarily agree with you, did he protect you in front of his family and then in private afterwards say, hey, but you know what, you could have done this better, you could have handled it better? That is okay. But if he is like leaving you to fend for yourself, literally throwing you to the wolves when his mother is like, oh my goodness, did you hear that she said this and this? And then he's immediately like, oh my gosh, how could you do this? Honey, run. You are setting yourself up for a life of complete miserability. I don't even know if you call that, but you're going to be absolutely miserable because this guy is basically going to be the barrier between you and your mother-in-law. So whatever he's allowing is what's going to be allowed in your marriage. Okay, so our next question says, how do I serve unkind people, especially in the workplace? So I loved this question just because of the sheer fact that I got like this mind-blowing discovery when I was reading my Bible, like I think maybe a couple of months ago, and I was like, wow, oh my goodness. We know that we as Christians have to serve people. And she said now here, especially in the workplace, but I know that it's a struggle everywhere. It's a struggle at your house, at your school, between your friends. Like, how do you serve people that, if I can put it crassly, don't deserve it? And I have to honestly tell you, this is it's a mindset thing. You're going to have to shift your mind. And I'm gonna explain something to you. You're gonna be like, what? So I was reading my Bible a couple of months ago, and you know that super scary verse that all of us Christians are like, where it says, not everybody who tells me Father, Father will come into heaven with me, because I will tell them they did not do the will of my Father. And then the people will be like, but how are we supposed to do your will? And then God's gonna tell them, when I was sick, you didn't come and take care of me. When I needed something to drink, you didn't give me water. When I needed food, you didn't feed me. When I needed a place to sleep, you didn't give me a place to sleep. And then the people are gonna be like, oh my gosh, but God, when were you at my house? When did you tell me you're hungry? When did you tell me you're thirsty? Like, if I knew you were there, I would have done these things. God basically tells them, no, you didn't do it directly to me, but you did it to your fellow brothers and sisters. And everything that you do to your fellow brothers and sisters is as if you are doing it to me. And that's where I got this mindset shift, because he says here, whatever you do for people or to people is as if you're doing it to me. And I realized when I serve somebody, I'm doing it for God. I'm not doing it for this person. So even though this is a horrible person and they're treating me horribly and they're not treating me like they're supposed to be treating me, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for God. Okay, so my next question says, how do I heal from a heartbreak? So yeah, if this is something that you are going through, I'm so sorry. I want to hug you through the screen, because I know exactly what it feels like. I went through my own breakup about, I think, a month, maybe 2 months ago, like a month and a half. And I was very public about my relationship with this guy. I obviously told everybody, this is the one that I'm going to marry, this is my husband, very public about it. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out the way that I planned, and I did end up breaking up with this guy. But at least now I can talk to you guys about it and give you advice if this is something that you're going through, because it was a very serious relationship as well. We've been together for almost 2 years. I'm just saying that so that you know you're not alone. I think there are so many people going through breakups. I know you feel like everybody around you is so happy and getting engaged, and you're the one here suffering with heartbreak. But I would say that my biggest advice, if you want to let it heal, you have to let it hurt. It sucks. I know you want some like 5-step plan to get over a breakup in 2 hours, but unfortunately, it's just not realistic. I would just honestly say cry. Like, sit here, give yourself a week or 2 weeks and just cry your heart out. Your body experienced trauma, and obviously this was a person that you trusted. This is a person that you loved. This is a person that you were vulnerable with. So don't just be like, oh no, he didn't hurt me. Allow yourself to hurt. It's okay to admit that he hurt you or that you hurt him. I felt like a bruised and battered puppy when I was going through my breakup. I cried so much, and this is gonna sound dramatic, but I cried so much that I ended up dehydrating, and honestly it healed me from the inside. Watch the other woman. Honestly, I don't know why, but this helped me so much during my breakup. It sounds so stupid, but I honestly watched that movie like probably 15 times. It was about this husband that cheated on his wife, and then the two mistresses came together to get his revenge on him. But I think I watched that movie so much, it kind of reminded me that your life doesn't begin and end with a guy, and your friends are the ones that's going to stick in the end. Those are the people that are always going to be there for you. So watch The Other Woman. It's very uplifting in a strange way. And I love Cameron Diaz. Don't fall into another guy's arms. Girl, have some self-respect. I spit so much right now. Don't just fall into the next guy's arms because you're trying to shove away this pain. You're going to experience this pain somewhere, somehow, someday. If you're just delaying the process by jumping into another guy's arms, honestly, that's just more heartbreak that you're going to have to deal with, more baggage that you're going to have to deal with, and you're just delaying this pain for like another week or two. So by the end that you're out of this new relationship, you could have dealt with this relationship, moved on, enjoyed your single life. Don't try this friends bull that everybody is talking about, like, oh, but we're still friends, oh, but we still talk every day, oh, but we still message each other every day. No, it doesn't work. If you had feelings for someone, it doesn't just disappear the moment you say, oh, we're just gonna be friends. You have to cut this person off. And I know people don't want to hear this because I know you think you're the exception on the rule and you're like, no, but we're really just friends. We were friends before the relationship, so we're just going back to that. And no, 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 no. Stop. Stop. Shh. Girl, you have to remove this guy out of your life. Stop talking to him, stop texting him, stop following him on social media, block him. That's personally what helps me the most, is just blocking the person completely. I don't want to see what's going on in your life. I don't want to know what you're up to. I don't want you to see what's going on in my life. We need to move on, and that's the quickest way to do it. And please, please understand me right. I'm not saying the day after the breakup you go through this rampage in your room and you're just like ripping off every photo and blocking him on everything. It's not gonna happen overnight, but it has to happen somewhere. So you have to detox this person out of your life. If he gave you a little candle, throw it away. You know when you're going on like a diet and you're detoxing sugar? He's the sugar that you need to detox. Okay, and you're never gonna detox if you still eat a chocolate every day and you still eat a piece of jelly tot or a piece of cake every day. You have to detox. You have to cleanse it out of your system. And I have to say, another thing that helped me a lot was stop to idealize my relationship. So this is definitely something that I did. You lie here and you only think about the good parts of the relationship. Think about the time that you went to this, you think about that time that you did that. I don't know if this is a healthy thing to do, but honestly what helped me a lot was to just remember the bad parts of the relationship as well. And you know what, when you start to think about your relationship realistically, you'll probably see that 95% of the relationship kind of sucked and only the 5% was fun, and you keep clinging to that 5% and completely ignoring the 95% that sucked. Okay, so then our next question, it says, what to do when you feel far from God. So basically when you are in a spiritual rut. I also love this question because this is something that I myself have experienced now. Like I said, I went through a heartbreak, and unfortunately my relationship with God took a huge knock because like I said, I did believe that I was going to marry this guy, so obviously my faith was just shaken to the core. But luckily also I went through this now, so I can give you advice now because I'm actually moving out of my spiritual rut. Okay, if you feel far away from God, usually something happened. So it's not like you wake up one morning and you're just like, wow, I'm so far away from God now. It's either a big event that happened, like for me, my heartbreak was the event. For you, it could be you lost a friendship, you lost a family member, you maybe had a fight with someone, you trusted God for a job and you felt like he didn't come through. You were just extremely busy, because the only way that we feel far away from God is when we don't pray and we don't read our Bible. Something is keeping you from praying and reading your Bible. We humans, we always have coping mechanisms. You have a coping mechanism to cope with your life, where that is supposed to be God in every aspect, you know, because we are supposed to be fully dependent on God, fully trusting him with everything, running to him with everything. He's supposed to be our coping mechanism. When we pull away from God, it's usually because we found another coping mechanism. Some people use food to cope and they start binge eating. Other people run to alcohol and they start drinking overboard. Some people run to people, you know, those people that just can't be alone. They're out every single night. Some people use pornography to cope. Everybody has something that is helping them cope. So for me personally, watching series. Like honestly, if I don't want to deal with my life, I will literally be sucked into series and movies. I'm able to lie here on my bed for hours and days and weeks on end just watching series. That is my coping mechanism. You definitely have something that you're using to cope instead of God. When you're upset, what do you go do? If your life doesn't feel good, what do you go do? Do you go hang out with friends to feel better? Do you go and eat to feel better? Do you go and watch TV to feel better? Do you maybe go and spend a lot of money? Do you maybe go and buy a lot of clothes? You're doing something that is making you feel better. And I've just found that if you can pinpoint that, like I pinpoint my series being my coping mechanism, and you can cut that out of your life, it's almost as if you have no choice but to run to God. It's almost as if you're sitting here like, okay, but what do I do now? And then it's suddenly as if you have time for God again, because what I've realized is your coping mechanism is usually stealing your time that you use for praying and reading Bible. don't God bomb yourself. So don't try to, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna read my Bible, I'm gonna worship, I'm gonna pray for 60 hours, I'm gonna go to church, I'm gonna join a cell, and just like God bomb yourself. Basically just throwing all of this stuff on you. Start slowly. The easiest thing to do is to worship in your room. It doesn't take a lot of brain power, it doesn't take a lot of energy, and then you start by adding, let's say, okay, I'm gonna read one verse a day. Okay, I'm gonna pray for 5 minutes a day. While I'm doing my makeup, instead of watching a YouTube video, I'm gonna watch a sermon. Easing yourself into this, sort of making yourself used to spending time with God again. So don't like, blah. Okay, so our next question says, how do we correct someone in love? I never know what to say. So obviously we have to correct someone. And I think a lot of people think that if you correct somebody in love, it means that you should not be direct. So you should kind of like skimp, what do you call it in English? You should kind of hint like, hey girl, you're doing this wrong, girl, this is a sin, girl, without saying it. I completely disagree. Jesus was very direct. He told people, this is a sin, this is not right, but you are forgiven, go and sin no more. Jesus was direct. He didn't beat around the bush. It's not this like, oh, hint. You have to honestly make sure that your heart is in the right place. And I mean genuinely, because I know a lot of times you think you're correcting somebody out of love, but it's actually just you sitting here like, I hope you're doing that wrong, eh? You have to start off by understanding. So not justifying the sin, not saying, oh, it's okay because this and this. If you correct somebody, you have to speak truth into their life as well. So you have this friend, and then you will tell her, hey girl, the Bible says it's a sin to have sex outside of marriage, and that's where we stop. That's where we end. And then we're like, but you can do this to stop, you can do this to stop, you can have an accountability partner. And I've come to realize that you have to end off the statement with truth as well. If you say to your friend, hey girl, sleeping around with a bunch of guys outside of marriage is wrong. Tell her the truth. Tell her what the Bible says. And say to her, you are God's creation. You are so valuable. God has a guy in mind for you that is going to find you as valuable as well. And he's going to find you so valuable that he's going to protect your purity. He's going to wait until marriage because you are so valuable to him, and his relationship with God is so valuable to him. God blesses marriage and he wants healthy marriages. And that is why sex is such an intimate, wonderful thing, because it consummates that marriage, and God wants that for you. That truth is usually what will motivate people to stop doing something. You basically have to tell people, this is the problem, Jesus is the answer. You always have to end with, Jesus is the answer. Sleeping around is wrong, Jesus is the answer. Instead of you just being like, oh, this is wrong, stop doing it, bye. Okay, then our next question says, how to deal with friends leaving because of your faith. So it's not something that I personally experienced, but what I can tell you is that good riddance, okay? So if friends leave because you're choosing the Christian life, you're choosing God above them, good riddance, okay? Honestly, it's the best thing that could have happened to you. I know it doesn't feel like that. I know you're sad. I know you're wondering, did I make the right decision? Should I not maybe do this because I can lead them to God, or I can convince them, or whatever? No, you completely made the right decision. God showed his love to us by sacrificing Jesus for us. So I always say, how do you prove your love to God? What are you willing to sacrifice for him? And you sacrificed your friends for him. And I don't even think you know how valuable that is and how amazing that is. Well done. If friends are leaving because of your faith, be like, goodbye, adios, ciao, tata. Those are the friends in the end that they're not going to give you good advice. They're probably going to wreck your life. They're going to drag you down to the depths of hell with them. And I know that you're probably feeling super lonely and you're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Loneliness is usually where God meets you. I've experienced that this year. When Jesus went into the desert for that 40 days and 40 nights, and he started his ministry after that. So don't knock the loneliness. The loneliness is not nice. I know that, but don't knock it. Usually when you come out of a wilderness season, that is when the most amazing blessings is going to come your way. And honestly, can I just tell you, rather be alone than be with people that is going to ruin your life, drag you down, take you away from God. You have to make an effort to go find friends in the right places, if I can put it like that. So usually, obviously, we make a lot of friends in the clubs and when we're out at the mall and whatever. Do yourself a favor and go join a church wherever you're at. Join a church and go join a cell group there. That is where I made a lot of my friends this year when I came home from university. You know that they are Christians, you know they have the same morals as you, they have the same standards as you, they will support you, they will help you, they will be there for you. I know it sucks, like myself, when I went to a new church with new people, I didn't know anybody there, I had to join a cell group. It wasn't something that I looked forward to at all. Believe it or not, I'm very introverted. I know it might not seem like that on camera. When I'm comfortable with you, I'm totally crazy. That was really pushing my boundaries and really pushing my comfort zone to go to a church and to go to a cell group with a bunch of people that I didn't know. But now, a year later, I can honestly tell you that I'm so thankful I did that. I know that it's lonely. Don't knock the wilderness season and go put an effort to go find friends elsewhere. Our next question is, this person just said self-care with a little question mark. So I know a lot of people have been asking me about like self-care as a Christian. Honestly, I think self-care is one of the most important things in the world, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I think there's so many forms of self-care out there. My self-care days are on Saturdays. Saturdays are the holy grail of days to me. Don't bother me on a Saturday, okay? This is my day. Leave me alone. Close the doors. Don't talk to me. Don't phone me. Don't message me because I will not answer you, okay? Nothing personal. So self-care is obviously not the same like every single time. Your body will tell you what you need. You know, sometimes you literally just need to sleep. Like I have had Saturdays where I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna take a nap. I'm putting up a movie here in the background and I'm just gonna take a nap and I'm just gonna sleep off my week. That's my form of self-care for the day. Sometimes I will feel like I wanna have like a beauty self-care day. I will do my nails. I will like cut it and Q-Tex it. I will put in a hair mask. I will do like a body scrub. I will shave. Some days I'm like, no, I want to lie here next to the swimming pool. I want to listen to like a Christian podcast about something. But also a big thing I want to say is that people treat self-care as if it's like this once-off thing that you just need to do like once every week and everything's going to be sorted. But I have found that self-care is something you have to do a little bit every single day. You know, you have to do small tasks every day that will add to your self-care, because if you just leave everything, you don't do any self-care during the week, and then suddenly once a month now you have to do everything. The self-care process is actually a stressful process. You're just like, I can't do everything in one day. You have to practice a little self-care every single day. So for me, it's like waking up early in the morning. I wake up at 5:30 so that I can make coffee, I can sit here, I can watch the sunset from my room, and I can read Bible, pray, listen to worship music for at least an hour before I start my day. That's a form of self-care. I clean my room every single day. I don't just leave it, throw things on the ground, and then Saturday I'm like, oh, I have to clean my room because self-care. I literally go every morning and I make my bed. I will make sure my washing is in the washer. I will make sure all the dirty dishes is in the kitchen. If I spilled something, I clean it. I will give water to my plants that is not dead because I don't know, I kill all of my plants, but I keep trying. I drink a lot of water during the day. I will play with my dogs a little bit. Before I go to bed, put down my phone and read a book. All of these things, they add up. Self-care is a general mindset of I'm looking after my body, I'm looking after my heart, and I'm looking after my mind, and I'm looking after my environment. It's not just this one thing, like I'm gonna put on a face mask, self-care queen. Okay, and then our last question for today is finding inner happiness. So I did actually make a full video on this. Obviously, we're not psychopaths. Just because you're a Christian doesn't mean that you have to be happy like all the freaking time, the whole day, and you just have to be like la 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 la, the world is great, the world's fantastic, God is good. But yes, we have to strive to be genuinely joyful people. We should not be bitter people. I honestly think happiness starts with a thankful heart. So usually when we're unhappy, we're either unhappy because we wanted something but we didn't get it, ungratefulness, or we didn't want something but we did get it, ungratefulness. So what I mean by this is, let's say you really wanted that couch and you prayed for that couch for a very long time because it matched perfectly with your walls, but you still don't have enough money to buy that couch. Now you're just so unthankful. I mean, never mind that you bought a new house or you have a place to live, you have food to eat, you have a nice swimming pool where you can lounge at, but you didn't get that damn couch that you wanted, and now you're bitter about that. Or you got something that you didn't want. Let's say you were in a terrible relationship and now you're like, why did I go through this? Instead of being grateful for what you learned, how God helped you through all of this, how it changed you, instead of being grateful for that, you're angry that it happened to you. So either way, you're unthankful. Be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for what is already there. Look around you. You have so much to be thankful for. And I honestly think the core of a heart that is happy is somebody that is thankful, not always wanting more, always wanting better, always wanting what somebody else has, but somebody that's just like, wow, I still have amazing things. I'm thankful for what I do have because I do have a lot. Everything that I have is a gift from God. I don't deserve any of this. He didn't have to give me anything. He didn't have to give me a house, a bed to sleep in, food to eat. He didn't have to do any of that, but he did. And I want to be thankful for that. And that is how you're going to be happy. That is all that I have for you today. Let me know if you want me to do a part 2 where I give you guys some more advice. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next Saturday. Mwah.